Hey guys, I am here with Ian. He has been a client for a little bit here, maybe 6 months, maybe longer. I'll let Ian fill us in on that. But we're excited to have him share some of his experience with us. So Ian, thanks for being on. Tell me about you, your family, like your some of your stats, like how many kids, how old you are, how much you weigh. You don't have to get into that much detail, but whatever feels good.
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity to come on with you. It's kind of a unique opportunity. So it's fun just to share a bit of my story, but which I think is probably not that exciting, but I'm sure there's lots can identify with it. But, I'm 48 and a half, almost 49 years old, married for 23 some years now. And I got 4 kids. Oldest just turned 21 yesterday. Second oldest daughter turns 19 in a week, and I got a 17-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. So there's 4 of them. Right. Been a busy 20 some years now, parenting, and it's interesting that as you often use the catch their dad bod, or getting older or getting bolder, not older, but definitely a dad, and I've been a dad for a while. But I'm a chiropractor. I have a long history of being in a competitive athlete. Sports have always been sort of part of my life. I like to work hard, like to push my body. In a little nutshell of me, I live in Canada, where 6 months of the year it's freezing cold, and the other 6 months are gorgeous. So get a good balance.
Yeah, I was literally complaining this morning about the 2 or 3 months of awful coldness that we have in Colorado. I've got nothing to shake a stick at compared to 6 months of cold, 6 months of nice. But the nice is so good.
And I shouldn't say 6 months is a bit of a stretch. For the deep cold, good 2 months. Like we're in the middle of it, January, February, and then those shoulders of those times, it's gorgeous. A little bit of snow. But I like winter activities like Colorado. I'm sure, with skiing and everything, we got lots of that around here. So other than it pushing me, inside to work out as opposed to out in the garage.
Yes. In the garage is so fun. And I've seen your pictures of your outdoor winter activities. You optimize your time out there. It looks like a lot of fun. So tell me about what you were like prior to joining, or what sort of prompted you to start doing some work, and why then, and what was that like?
As far as weight training or lifting weights, I started to experiment with weights when I was in high school. My goal was to play pretty competitive hockey. So I had a bit of a mentor at the time who had been to university, played football, and he and I would work out together. So I threw around some weights, and I played, junior level hockey, and I played in university. And I was always in pretty decent shape as a result of that, but I went on to professional school. I lifted weights in school with a buddy, before class and whatnot. But then, starting a career, the extent of my working out became going for a 5K run in the good weather months. Especially when the weather turned awful, it was easy for me to say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. But so I will say I've never really taken a break from working out, but I would say there was never really that structured either. So inconsistent, but I would rely on a lot of the past fitness to kind of carry me.
Yeah. So what prompted you to get structured? You're well into your 40s, at this point. You've got your career, you've got 4 big kids, man. They're not small anymore. So what prompted this?
Yeah, what prompted that? Well, I mean, to make a long story short, the pandemic or this whole virus thing last March, my kids were given, the March break, which spring break for school age, kids. They were told, okay, we're not coming back. We're not going back to school for 3 weeks. And as an economy, they shut down shortly after that. They said, okay, everybody's going into a state of emergency. Businesses are closed. So, we were on holiday, which we would normally take a southern vacation or something, maybe for March break, was at home. And we took it like a vacation, but up to that point, my wife and I had recently been working out at it's like a HIIT type of a gym, boot camp style. So we would go 3 or 4 times a week for a 45-minute boot camp style dumbbell, body weight exercise workout.
Yeah.
But even at that, so then the gym closed. And so I want to say 3 or 4 weeks went by where we didn't do anything. And, we were watching movies during the day. It was like a 4-week vacation from life in general, no working out. Right. And I started to think, we're drinking a little bit more often, could start at noon. We could have a cocktail if we wanted to. Didn't have to go to work. But I said, this can't continue this way. But I had no other option. There's no gym to go to. I said, we got to start doing something. So I had a little bit, a few body weight workouts that I could do, but no plan. Right. Yeah. So I would do a couple. If I was sore the next day or tired, I didn't feel like it. I wouldn't do it. So it's hard to kind of get that ball rolling again.
Yeah. Yeah. Then somehow you found my stuff.
Yeah.
So my programs. How was that?
That I'm not exactly sure how, but it must. What I think happened was it came across a video maybe that you had done. It was I think it was introducing body weight only or maybe minimal equipment, and I thought I got a couple of dumbbells in my basement that I don't touch really because I preferred to go to the gym. Yes. And to do it at home, it was like, wow, no motivation to do it in my basement. But so I think, I looked up maybe the fees and whatnot. I thought, this is reasonable. It might've been a 30-day program that you had available. And I thought, I'll give this a try. But I want to say too, that I think the video was very relatable. Your genuine, the way you came across was just sort of, really sincere and not trying to market or sell a program. It was like, this is what I did. I transformed myself, and I related myself to your story very, very closely. Yeah. So, but I signed up for this 30-day, or I paid for it, and then I got the email, and then I didn't do anything for 2 more weeks. I sat on it. I was like, I'll get started, when I feel like it. I figured like in the moment I made a decision to sign up, which was probably the first step. Then I think maybe the challenge was 30 days and I waited 2 weeks to get into it. And I better get going on this thing. So once I started, jumped right into it.
Well, and fast forward, you have done the 30 days and then you've done a 12-week intensive volume 1, a 12-week intensive volume 2. I'm just going to keep creating these, man. And just feed them to you guys. Literally, like I tossed like volume 3 into the water, and then like you and the other guys just like attack it, and then now prompt each other and challenge each other. Develop nicknames for each other, which is pretty fun. Your nickname is Iceman. That's just somehow evolved, and I'm pretty sure Brooks made that happen. It
was Brooks or maybe Rob, I think, in the UK, and one day because I was pushing, I didn't have a home gym. So again, I was using 25-pound dumbbells to start with. I think I had a pair of 30s and a pair of 15s. So I did the first 30 days with those dumbbells, but then I realized, okay, well, these are getting a little bit easier. So I progressed up to the 30s. There was a time when I taped a 15-pound dumbbell to a 25-pound dumbbell to do, bent over rows. And I thought, okay, but dumbbells were, unpurchasable. You couldn't find them anywhere. So I was going online. I ended up getting myself a set of 40s. Some guy was changing his dumbbell gym to a kettlebell gym, and I found a few dumbbells from him, and I ended up now buying a 50. But to get back to the Iceman, I was in the garage working out. I moved all my stuff from the basement because I didn't like being inside, so I went out to the garage. But in the fall, you get a few early cold days. And actually a snowfall hit in November. And I think I had a toque on. It was snow on the driveway, and I had the garage door open, and I took a picture. And I think one of the guys from there on said, "Yeah, you're Iceman."
I think it's legit. Nicknames. Actually going back to like the Facebook group and the camaraderie that goes on in there. What's it like for you being in there and experiencing the journey with other dudes?
It makes the at-home workouts feel more like the gym. So the boot camp or the HIIT gym that I would go to had some regulars, and I would go to certain time frames or classes or workouts at a time, knowing that there were going to be some familiar faces there. And we would, there were a couple of guys that would stay at my level, and we'd work out together. So it was a community. Sometimes we don't go for a workout and then go for breakfast after, there's that camaraderie. But the Facebook group, I don't know really how it, kind of clicked with Rob and Brooks, Tio, and, of course. Guys that are all over over the country, or even
it's amazing.
The globe. I don't know. We just sort of started to encourage each other a little bit, or compare notes. Mm-hmm. I just enjoy the characters that they are. Right, Rob's always got a funny thing to say about his workout, and I like how they mentally break down there and discuss their workout and challenges in a fun way, and like to poke at you a little bit, and then other guys have joined, like a guy like Chad Verge and Micah, so even outside that little VIP group, sometimes we're private messaging about, hey, how'd you do on this workout? What weight did you do? What was your time? And it just sort of, it's fun. It creates community. I actually look forward to opening up my Facebook and the notification, page, they'll be lit up like so-and-so mentioned you, and then the whole conversation's been going on while I was, sleeping or at work or something.
I do the same thing. I log in once or twice a day and see the notification like, oh my God, something is going on in the Facebook group. Go in there and there's a post from Rob and there's 20 comments and it's separate strings in those comments. And, you and Brooks taking off on a trail over in this direction, and Tio and Micah. And I even love, there was a new guy that just started a 12-week intensive. And I was just getting ready to introduce him to the group. He had already introduced himself. This was literally like a half hour of time went from he signed up. I was getting ready to introduce him. He had already introduced himself. There's comments in there already, like welcoming him, making him feel at home. And him even saying like, I haven't even started working out and I love this. And I know that, the idea will come up that, I looked at this workout and it looked like it was going to be really simple. Boy, was I wrong. I mean, that's an ongoing theme in the Facebook group. And
it becomes more of a joke now. You're never ready for the pain, no matter what, no matter how often. I mean, I'm almost at the end of volume 3 intensive. Right? I feel like I'm the guinea pig of this one because there's no notes for me to compare.
Right. You're leading the charge.
I'm like, and I'm not the best at always recording my notes. So I feel like now I have an obligation to, put something in there just because I know Brooks is coming up and Rob behind me. And I'm curious, to see where we're all at. And of the 3 of all the VIPs, they're sort of in, sort of neck and neck as far as where my progress has come. And I see them sort of right and neck with me. Not that I feel like I'm competing with them, but it's fun to see, how our times, sort of match up. But I also, one day my energy level is not necessarily there, but I'll kill it. And, I probably could do better, but, and Brooksy will give me a little bit of a, a punch and say, hey man, I'm coming up on you. I'm just like, I got to do that again. Right?
That stuff is super motivating. I actually got a private message the other day from someone else that is in volume 3 that's working his way through. And he actually asked me, he's like, can you tell me how old Ian, Brooks, and
Rob?
Rob. Yeah. How old are these guys? He wanted to know, like, how old are these guys? Because I need to know how I'm stacking up. Is Ian a young guy? Is how old is Micah? How old is all these different guys? Because in getting to know how old someone is, that becomes a factor when we're over 35. For you to be 48, 49-ish, you're in that range, right? Yep. You said, that there's a difference between a 48-year-old and a 40-year-old in our physical capacity. It's just a reality. Can you compare or contrast your fitness level prior versus now? Has this been something that you've noticed a significant increase in your own fitness, feeling good, all those kinds of things?
Without a doubt, my physical body has changed. Now, I've been in this before, but I noticed in my 40s to stay in shape got so much harder. And as a chiropractor, I'm very physical. So I've always tried to stay in shape, but I noticed my body getting a little bit softer. I had some repetitive injuries. In fact, you don't know this, but in the last 5 years, I've ruptured both of my distal bicep tendons.
Wow.
And had them surgically repaired. So once I was, just lifting the mower deck on my lawnmower, just very, very light, and pop, blew my bicep. And I was like, why does this happen to me? I'm fit, and then I was playing hockey a couple of years ago and taking a shot, same thing, boom, blew my other one. Both of those set me back in my fitness because I couldn't do anything for 6 months to a year. Trying to even curl a 25-pound weight was impossible, painful. To to do a pull up or any kind of a chin up was painful and next to impossible. So having said that, I got a little bit soft, that dad bod. I wouldn't say I compared myself to other friends in my age that were dad bod worthy. They drinking too much beer. And I pretty much did what I wanted. I ate what I wanted. And I had an excuse because I was like, I can work it off. But it slowly doesn't become work offable anymore, if I can say that. That's not even a word, but I could see it starting to kind of get to that point where I'm going to have like this spare tire. My muscle definition was getting soft and I didn't like it. I didn't like where I was going to go if I didn't do something different, but I would put in the work at the gym, but it was only for a couple of months at a time. And then I'd take a period of time off. So I would sort of reset back to, step one.
Well, talk about that really quick. This is something that I notice with a lot of guys that are getting started, is that the inertia it takes to overcome just starting. If you were to give some advice, because you've restarted a few times, right? As have I. But if you were to talk to someone that is maybe on the fence about getting started because they feel that whatever that word is, but it keeps them from just getting started, what advice do you give to someone to help them get over that first hump and then keep going? What's worked for you?
Here's the thing. You almost have to leverage the gains that you will get when you start. Leverage, but it's not just for how I look. If I leveraged getting up out of bed for how I look every day, or look at myself or perceive my body image, I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it enough, right? I would burn out. But I leverage it on my health as a father, as a husband, right? As a professional. I need to be physically capable and healthy to be there for my family, for my kids. And that's really what I leveraged it on. I said, if I keep, drinking what I want when I want and not getting out of bed to do the work, I'm not going to be around long enough, right? Or healthy enough. And I take care of people that have left their body to fall apart. And people tell me all the time, man, I wish I had done this something different 30 years ago. I didn't want that to be me. So when I made the decision to join your program, not only did your approach or your personality help me, but having a plan for tomorrow helps me get up and do the work. Really, if I didn't have a workout in place already for me when I wake up, I wouldn't do it. It would be so hard for me to think of, okay, well, what workout am I going to do today? Instead of the old back and bis, chest and tris, and then leg day, that was boring. CrossFit was a bit intimidating for me at the thought of it. But starting out with the, minimal equipment, the dumbbells, the style, I can't see doing anything different now.
I love that idea, again, of waking up and just being pleasantly surprised by whatever is written down and just doing that. It's, part of that is literally removing any decision fatigue. I appreciate your time, your energy, taking time out to do this with me. Man, keep killing it, dude.
I'm loving it. It's the consistency is what keeps me going too. Now that I'm afraid to stop because I don't want to have to restart. So, and I'm enjoying having, a workout to do now. After we're done, I got to hit it. I got one waiting for me. One thing I'll add, I moved all my own weights up into the garage. And my daughter, my 17-year-old, and my wife were doing a kind of body weight only workouts. They needed sometimes the dumbbells that I was using. So they started coming up into the garage to get the dumbbells. Instead of bringing them back into the basement where they were working out, they're like, well, we might as well just do what you're doing. Somewhere early in volume 2, and then we're almost through volume 3.
Wow.
They're doing everything I've done. Now my 13-year-old son is now working out with us too. So he comes home from school, or he would, when they were doing virtual classes, he'd come and say, okay, I'm on recess or I'm on lunchtime. Let's work out at 13. So he's down here doing, and he doesn't break a sweat. He does at 13, you don't sweat. He gets done before I do. And I'm in a heaping pile of sweat on the floor, and he's, all right, I'm done. I'm going back to class.
Dude, how cool is that?
Yeah. So it's changed my whole family's sort of workout, routine. It's awesome.
And being able to work out with your kids, it's glorious.
See, that wouldn't have been possible if I was still going to the gym. because they wouldn't join me. They wouldn't have seen me sweating my butt off and
seriously
up and down the street, carrying weights up and down the driveway. And right now they're doing it. Yeah, they're totally doing it. I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm with a patient the other day, and he's like from Nigeria, and English not his first language, but you know, his summarize his complaint was low back on the one lower right side. He's had it for 10 years.
Wow.
And so I'm taking him in, taking an X-ray, and I finished taking the X-ray, and he says, "Doc," he says, "let me ask you a question." He said, and he points to his belly, and he's my age. He's literally the same age as I am. And he's got this probably, 9 months pregnant look belly. And he goes, "Is this what's causing my pain?" And I said, "Well, let me ask you a question." I said, "Is this, or was this there 10 years ago when the pain started?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, this is not necessarily the main cause of your pain, but this is certainly not helping your pain." And then he goes like this, he rubs it a little bit, and he goes, and he points to me, and he pokes me into my now fairly rock hard ass. He goes, I want that. I want to be like that." And I was like, "Well," I said, "we got some work to do then, right?" It was awesome that the way he kind of like, okay, well, I see what you have and I want. And I don't know whether he knew the age comparison was exactly the same, but it was good. I felt, man, well, obviously it shows what I'm doing, right? And more so lately, more and more often, people are saying, "Man, I can see you've been working hard, right? Or working out and making a difference." So it's certainly,
it's insane that you're getting that, and you're getting those results in under an hour a day, just consistently.
And it's been gradual. Like, I mean, at first, the 30-day and in the first 12, I wanted to be shredded. I wasn't as shredded as I wanted to be, but it's been a gradual drop. And I want to say though, I lost about 10-ish pounds, maybe right off the get-go. I'm actually putting all that weight back on, but I know it's muscle, right? Well, but
you've seen my before and after picture, right? So I've got the red stripe in one hand. It's like a 5-pound difference between that before and after picture. I lost the same way. I lost about 10 pounds, and then I started creeping back up in just muscle tone that builds up. That lean muscle is heavy. Even in your before and after pictures, the after picture guy weighs almost as much as the before guy, but can do a lot more and looks a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's, I'm always, working in the yard or doing lots of things. And I definitely, so I'm still sore every day.
I know.
But my muscles are sore, but I'm not aching my low back or my joints or my neck. I'm definitely way more in shape and fit. I know I got a ways to go, even to kind of where I want to be, I think, but the momentum and the consistency, I've never consistently worked out every day, minus my recovery and rest days before. And it'll be a year come March.
Well, dude, thank you for all this. I appreciate it. Get to your workout.
It was fun. I'm looking forward to doing it in person sometime.
Definitely.